Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we're checking out a video that was recommended by Eugene. I really do actually believe that's a pronunciation. I hope I'm right. But the title of the video that was recommended is The Battle of Bamber Bridge. I'm not sure what I'm getting into, but it's history, so not my strongest point. I will say this, I've never ever been a fan of history, but as time goes by and my interest in other countries and, people and so on and so forth grows, it actually allowed for me to be a little bit more comfortable with history. And for some odd reason, I don't actually shy away from history anymore. Hence the reason why I'm literally going to be checking out a history video. So it's not my strongest point, right? I didn't like history growing up, but yeah, here we are. We're learning history, and American history. I'm not gonna say I know American history to the T or on the dot, but pretty decent at it if you ask me, right? I'd say I'm above average when it comes to American history, but yeah. Without further ado, man, we're checking out this video, and let's learn.
Hi, this is Laura, community reporter at the Lancashire Post, and today we're at the Ye Old Hob Inn in Bamber Bridge. And a famous battle called the Battle of Bamber Bridge in 1943 started right here in this pub. Now this is a tale of segregation of people, local people saying no to racism, saying no to segregation, standing up for what's right, and this
Love the accent, by the way.
terrible battle actually ended in tragedy in the murder of a black African American soldier. So
What? Anybody told me about? Hold on. Let me lock in. What's going on? Hold on now. Let me lock in.
we're here today to speak to Clinton Smith. He's the chairperson of Preston Black History Society, and he is going to give us an insight into this fascinating tale.
The battle started in this very pub that we're in now, and it appears that at the end of normal trading on a Sunday night, the black GIs wanted to continue buying alcohol and couldn't understand the British rules and laws about last orders. They'd been in the pub for quite a while, and there was a fairly broad social gathering with locals, ex-British military personnel on leave, and there's a good spirit within the pub. And at some point around that, the military police entered the pub, and it appears that one of the soldiers, Eugene Nunn, was not in the appropriate dress code. So the army was not in the appropriate. One of the soldiers, Eugene Nunn, was not in the
Who? Why does that sound like the name who recommended the video? I can't be sure that's what I said. Eugene. What?
appropriate dress code. So the army has different dress codes for different situation. And that seemed to have been the spark that ignited that. So there was a disagreement and conversation, potentially heated, and it threatened to get out of hand. It's on record that some of the locals actually stood with the black GIs and said, like, why are you bothering them? There'll be no arrest tonight, they're not causing the problem, they're just mixing in with. So eventually the MPs left. As they were leaving, the record will show that a bottle was thrown in their direction. It doesn't say that the bottle actually hit anyone, but the bottle was thrown, so the MPs went off. The GIs then concluded their evening's relaxation and set off back to the camp, which was Adams Hall Camp, which is on partway down what is now Mounsey Road. And somewhere along Station Road, the military police returned with reinforcements, and the next bit, as with so many skirmishes, gets a little bit blurred, but it ended up with one soldier being shot, that's Private Crossland, And word got back to the camp that the white MPs were killing black soldiers for fun. So there was an assault on the armoury, and the black GIs took to the streets with guns and ammunition from the armoury. There is talk of a machine gun being employed by the military police with that, and pretty much a free-for-all kicked off on Station Road. That went on for somewhere in excess of about 5 hours before order was maintained during which time, as I say, Private Crossland.
Damn, humans be wild. 5 hours. 5 hours of fighting for no absolute reason. Oh my gosh, man. Holy smoke. I can really never understand the hate between, gender hate, religion hate, ethnicity. I just don't get it. I just don't get it because I don't know. Maybe I just look at the world as an unfortunate situation where I was placed here, unwillingly, and I got to get out of here forcefully. So I was forced here, and I'm gonna get forced out. Meaning I was born and I'm gonna die, and I didn't choose either of them, right? So maybe I look at it as more of I just want to enjoy what I get here, rather than being conflicts and shit like that. So maybe that's why I don't really understand the hate, but I don't get it, man. But this is crazy. Like, we're talking about World War II. We supposed to be, jolly and everybody just be chilling, bro, because it's like, shit. God, man.
And ended up being a casualty. He was shot, and there was somewhere in the region of 7 other casualties as a result of that battle. What also comes out is that some of the black GIs, because of the relationship they'd had with the residents in Bamber Bridge, were going down the street telling the residents to go back indoors, close your door, shut your doors, there's going to be a fight. And that was the regard they had based on the response and the welcome that they received from the people of Bamber Bridge. In terms of William Crossland, there's nothing significant about him prior to that. He was just one of the regular GIs that were attached to the 1511th Quartermaster's Truck Division. So he was nowhere on the radar. He was just a face in a group, a name on a list, etc. And it's the notoriety of his death that is catapulted into people's memory and mind. I think we can surmise that there was just an overwhelming number of MPs who were called in, again, additional resources, and maybe a sense of common sense intervened, because there was a low-ranked black officer who was trying to maintain peace amongst this, because all the officers above him were white. So I'm surmising it's a combination of a few things that actually brought it to a conclusion. I think it's probably a couple of days beforehand that there'd been uprisings within continental America, and in Detroit things turned fairly nasty. Now it seems unlikely that that information wouldn't have crossed the Atlantic and have landed potentially with the GIs that are here. So when the call went out that they were killing black soldiers, I suspect that people just put the two together and then immediately thought about survival. I'm not just going to roll over and depart this earth. I'm going to put up a fight. So it's definitely been a factor. How big a factor and how much they actually knew, I'm not 100% certain. But the caution is that all this is taking place with a backdrop of war going on. So information was heavily censored and in fact just withheld in places. Some were amended, so there's a question mark about exactly what would have cascaded down to the soldiers, but the belief is it was definitely a factor in what was going on.
Thank you very much to Clinton for his fantastic insight into a tale that ended in the fatal shooting of William Crossland. And I can't imagine what it must have been like for the local people, you know, living down this road who would have woken up in the middle of the night to gunfire, not knowing what was going on, if they were being invaded. I mean, this was during World War II. It must have been absolutely terrifying, having to comfort their partners and their children at a time when there was no social media. You couldn't ask your neighbours what was going on. But despite the tragedy, you know, it makes you very proud that this town stood up against segregation, said no to you know, the American soldiers who wanted segregation, and said no, you know, we take people as we find them, and everybody is welcome here.
Damn. That is crazy, bro. That is crazy. That is crazy. I gotta look more into this. This video does not suffice. You know, this, like, I gotta look into this. I gotta get more information about this. World War II was like literally a crazy war, right? It was not a normal war. It was like, you know, I don't like that, and I don't like that, so I'm gonna wipe that out, right? It was a wipeout of a certain type of people, and I don't want to get into the whole 9 yards of it, but World War II was just so bad, you know, and to just hear about this just makes it like so crazy. Like during World War II, y'all having segregation issues, right? When we like, dude, this video did not do enough, so I'm gonna definitely check out another video about this. Not sure if it's gonna be a reaction, but possibly, I don't know. But if you guys have any recommendations related to this matter, let me know in the comment section down below. But I need to check out some more information about this because I didn't know nothing about this, and it seemed as if, you know, that's very horrible. Like during World War II, America, UK, like what? I didn't know about that. Aren't we supposed to be allies? Fighting for one cause? Man, this is bad. This is bad. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm gonna go get some research done about this because I'm very intrigued about it. Anyways, I'm out of here.